Stay with us here on The Pulse. Well, this afternoon, government has endorsed the Boko mediation report presented by the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II and ordered the immediate return of rival chief Alhaji Seidu Abagri to Nalerugu under the authority of the Nairi. In an official statement issued on Wednesday, December 17, and signed by the spokesperson to the President, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, the government said it has accepted all the recommendations contained in the report, which was presented a day earlier, and reaffirmed the court's ruling on the rightful overlord of Boko. Now, according to the statement, the report offers a comprehensive fact-based and forward-looking roadmap towards achieving lasting peace in a conflict-prone area. We will bring you details of that statement shortly. First, let's listen to the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II as he highlights some of the key recommendations and findings of that report.
The final resolution of the Boko matters requires that Mr. Seidu Abagri be recalled to Nalerugu by the Nairi to be reassigned to play another traditional role at the palace of the Nairi assisted by the state. Alternatively, he may choose to stay in Boko as an ordinary citizen of the community, but not to pose as Boko Naba. The final recommendation, Mr. President, I recommend that my brother, the Nairi, accepts the laws as presently constituting Sigri Abugrabu Azoka as the chief of Boko and head chief of the Kusasi traditional area. We chiefs, no matter how exalted, do not live above the Constitution of Ghana and the laws duly enacted and affirmed by the courts. Accordingly, the laws which recognizes Asigri Abugragu Azoka must be enforced by the government of the Republic of Ghana until change in accordance with the 1992 Constitution or reviewed by the Supreme Court of Ghana.
Well, as part of his recommendations, Otumfuo Osei II also urged government to take a firm decision and decisive approach to the reconciliation process to ensure lasting peace in the area.
The government must enforce the laws and deal sternly with any person challenging the lawful authority of Abugra Asoga. This is critical to the restoration and maintenance of peace in Kusasi traditional area. I wish to thank you, Mr. President, and your predecessor for reposing such confidence in me and tasking me with the mediation of this conflict with a view to finding a lasting solution. I also want to thank the Nairi and the Boko Naba for their efforts relative to this mediation process. The various chiefs or heads of various communities whom I met in the area who also participated in this endeavor deserve positive commendation.
Well, true to the president's assurance, and less than 24 hours after the report was presented, government has officially made its position clear, formally endorsing the Boko mediation report submitted by the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II. And that detail of that statement is coming up on your screens. Let me just walk you through it, some of the key findings in that report that the president today endorsed. It reads that government of the Republic of Ghana has received, carefully reviewed and deliberated upon the Boko conflict mediation report presented by His Majesty Otumfuo Osei II, the Asantehene, on the 16th of December 2025. In keeping with its unwavering commitment to peace, constitutional order, the rule of law and national cohesion, the government hereby formally states its position on the findings and recommendations of the mediation report as follows. The government fully endorses and accepts all the findings and recommendations contained in the mediation report. The report constitutes a comprehensive, fact-based and forward-looking roadmap aimed exclusively at achieving lasting peace, reconciliation and stability in Boko and its surrounding areas. It is not intended to apportion blame or confer victory on any party. In particular, the government affirms the unequivocal position of the law as consistently upheld by the Supreme Court of Ghana that Naba Asagri Abugragu Azoka II is a lawful Boko Naba, and that no individual or group is permitted under any circumstances to contest his authority or legitimacy. It goes on to state that government accepts the recommendation that Alhaji Saidu Abagri, who was installed as a rival claimant to the Boko chieftaincy, be recalled to Nalerugu by the overlord of Mamprungu and the Nayiri to assume an alternative traditional role with the necessary facilitation and support of the state. Goes on to state that pursuant to this recommendation by His Majesty Otunfoso II, the government will immediately facilitate the safe movement of Alhaji Saidu Abagri to Nalerugu, where he shall remain available to receive the directives of the Nayiri. And then, government further respectfully requests His Majesty Otunfoso II to continue to lend his distinguished leadership and moral authority to subsequent reconciliation efforts aimed at ensuring that they foster peace and harmonious coexistence between Mamprusi as well as the Kusasi community. So that's the statement that government put out today. Now, we will be going to the region shortly to speak to my colleague Albert Sori, who is on the ground. Now, he has been engaging residents who have been reacting to this statement put out by government, just reaffirming that it is indeed supporting and endorsing the report that the Asantehene put forward. Albert Sori joins us live now from that area. Albert, so far you have been engaging residents. Let's start with their reaction.
We have seen that some residents of Boko yesterday, after the Asantehene made the presentation, were excited about the information that he gave. Even though we know that curfew is still in place from 8 p.m. To 5 a.m. every day. Around 7 p.m. when you expect people to be indoors usually. Yesterday there were some people who were riding motorbikes and, excited about the outcome of the presentation that the Asantehene made. We also know that security have been on the ground. Ahead of the presentation yesterday, we know of the high security presence. There were some new checkpoints along various entry points into the Boko township, and a lot of security presence in the town itself. Lots of military and police patrol. And there were some fears also that anything that happened because of volatile towns itself. And so people were worried that there could be shootings or some sort of attack. Some people do not agree with the outcome of the mediation, but nothing of the sort happened. It's been very quiet in Boko for the most part of yesterday, and also today we haven't heard of any sort of disturbance or any disturbing issue at all.
And then you also reported earlier an incident in Boko that is separate from this. What exactly happened?
Well, this morning we heard about a bus that was attacked in the northeast region in Wali Wali. We do not know for sure if this is related to the mediation process. People feel that it could be, but we do not have any evidence that it is. What we know is that the bus was attacked and some 2 people we are told have been critically injured. But the details as to why the bus was attacked and every other thing related to it is still being investigated by security agencies. So this is all we know for now.
Thank you so much, Albert, for just bringing us that update all the way from Boko. We will be touching base with government, speaking to government spokesperson, just to deliberate on some of the key things that have come up in that report shortly. But just like we've told you in that conversation I had with Albert Sori, in a related development, 2 persons are in critical condition and several others injured after a devastating armed attack occurred on a commercial bus near Wali Wali. The bus traveling from Bongatanga to Tamale was ambushed by gunmen after stopping in Wali Wali. Some have linked the incidents to the ongoing conflict in Boku, but others say it is far from the case.
From Morga, and because we didn't get enough passengers in Morga, the VVIP here invited us that we should come for top up. The bus was full and we have moved going towards Tamale. So on reaching the hilltop there, the outskirts there, then I saw two tires on fire in the middle of the road. So I stopped. There I heard gunshot. But first I thought, because we are in the Xmas mood, I thought people were making fun. There I heard gunshot again. Then the last one that they fired entered the bus and hit my brother's head. So what I did was I opened the door for everyone to run for her or their life. So I also made my way through the bush. I came across and then entered the road here and reported to the police, to the hospital. Why? I didn't know that the police had taken him to the hospital. So later I came here and found him lying down. What time was it? It was some few minutes after 6 o'clock. Yes.
Well, away from that, Ghana has deployed troops from the 48th Engineers Regiment to support Jamaica's reconstruction efforts following the devastating effect caused by Hurricane Melissa. President John Dramani Mahama, at a parade held moments ago, formally bid farewell to the contingent last month. The government presented relief items to victims of the ongoing war in Sudan, as well as the communities affected by Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica and Cuba.
After the destruction of the hurricane, Ghana dispatched humanitarian assistance to the friendly people of Jamaica and Cuba, and also to the displaced people of Sudan. This humanitarian assistance included food aid, locally produced Ghanaian rice, blankets, mattresses, plastic buckets, medicines, and other such accoutrements. Ghana has consistently stood for international solidarity, humanitarian assistance, and global responsibility. Our nation understands the pain of natural disasters and the long road to recovery. Today's mission reinforces Ghana's commitment to humanitarian response, disaster recovery and reconstruction, and South-South cooperation, Pan-African and Afro-Caribbean solidarity. I commend the Ghana Armed Forces for their professionalism, for their discipline, and their readiness to serve not only at home, but anywhere in the world duty calls. This mission is not a combat mission. It is a mission of compassion, skill, and service. After we dispatched the first batch of humanitarian assistance, I made a phone call to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Andrew Holness, to express Ghana's solidarity with the people of Jamaica. He thanked me for the assistance we had dispatched, and in our discussion, he said what they need currently is assistance with rebuilding and providing shelter for the people who have been displaced. And so I offered to send a regiment of our engineering corps to help with the assistance, and also send them some tents to provide temporary shelter. We're dispatching those tents by sea so that we can provide temporary shelter. But in the meantime, our troops are going to help with reconstruction, with building, and also providing support for the people of Jamaica.
Well, away from that, the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says that the U.S. has exempted Ghana from its latest visa restriction announced on Tuesday, December 16.
In addition to the humanitarian support sent, has decided that today we need to deploy our troops following a request formally made by the Prime Minister of Jamaica. His Excellency the President is really pleased that the Ghana Armed Forces is responding to this call. And as a nation, are grateful to our gallant men and women in uniform for always making Ghana proud in various theaters across the world. As a top 5 UN troop contributing country, our armed forces have held high the flag of Ghana and have brought renown, have brought honor, and have brought pride to us anywhere they have been deployed. And we have no doubt that on this special mission by His Excellency the President, they will once again hold high the flag of Ghana and make us proud. Thankful to President Trump for being a good brother to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And if you doubted the good brotherliness between President Trump and President Mahama, you may have seen last night that in the latest round of U.S. visa restrictions, which hit very closely because almost all our neighbors are now affected, President Trump once again exempted his brother's country. The Republic of Ghana was fully exempted, and we are grateful to President Mahama for leading our foreign policy, which clearly is a mark of dexterity, of experience, of skill, of expertise, and unwavering commitment to our age-old foreign policy of being friends of all and enemies to none.
Well, let's head now to Parliament, where the minority say government's decision to deploy troops to Jamaica for reconstruction after the hurricane destroyed public and private infrastructure in that country is completely unnecessary. Well, the troops in question are from the Engineering Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces, like we told you. The minority also claim the government is deploying soldiers to Benin after a recent coup attempt. Speaking to journalists in Parliament, the ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee described the move as misplaced. Let's listen to Reverend Intim Fojo.
We woke up to the news of Ghana sending troops to Benin. And these troops that are committed to some undertakings in Benin ought to have come to the attention of Parliament for prior approval. Today, we also have woken up to the news of government sending troops, military troops to Jamaica to assist on some humanitarian grounds and some reconstruction undertakings. We don't have any problem with the principles of assistance to these countries we have mentioned. However, the procedures that should have been followed and the due process of consulting this august house, this Parliament House, in such decisions for us to be able to interrogate, to ensure transparency in the modalities, the framework, even the various costs that the state will incur, how long all these decisions taken will persist. Certainly when they sought to buy helicopters, they had to consult Parliament. So how come when you want to deploy troops to Benin, you do not consult Parliament? When you want to deploy troops to Jamaica, you do not consult Parliament? What are they hiding within this process? Sending troops to Benin, we need to understand which protocols under which this deployment is going to be undertaken, how many troops are going to be sent, how long this operation is going to be undertaken, and what is the cost to the state? How much is it going to cost the state for these troops deployed to Benin that will be incurred as a result of this decision? We have to ask all these questions. We are demanding answers from the Minister for Defense, from all the relevant agencies who took this decision. They are misplaced priority, and we cannot watch on unconcerned for the taxpayers' money to be misused in very misguided deployments, and they do so without regard to the citizenry. They do so thinking that nobody owes them a question.
Well, let me bring in Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante at this point in time. He joins us with details. Kweku, before this news conference, a minority leader had raised similar issues on the floor. Tell us more.
Well, yes, Alexander Afenyo-Markin had also told a similar line to his ranking member. His view was that this was not something that he thought the government should be doing, particularly when he had failed or actually not briefed Parliament yet. And so he reiterated his demand. And in fact, we had been learning that this matter had already been raised in conclave by the minority leader. And he insisted that the foreign and defense ministers or whoever government delegates so to speak on this matter should come to Parliament and brief the House. Listen to him.
Regarding all these items that are being shipped out of the country, Mr. Speaker, yesterday we read in the news that some relief items were being shipped, and the military high command had gone to inspect these items before shipment. I've checked with my colleague, the ranking on Defense and Interior, as to whether or not the committee on this the committee has been involved in any of these. He says no. Mr. Speaker, I think that the major policy decision like this must receive at least the blessings of Parliament. We are here as part of the ecosystem in the governance of the country. It cannot be that the members of Parliament would have to be reading this in the news. And when we have ministers who are first to come and signal us of this policy that, look, there is some disaster, the hurricane that struck Jamaica, and Ghana has a bilateral relationship with the good people of Jamaica. As part of that, we are committing $10 million, $5 million in relief items, and list the various items that are going to be delivered. Mr. Speaker, if the ministers decide not to take this House serious, then what other forum would they take serious?
He also insisted that there are issues to be focused on here in Ghana instead of seeking to support other countries. What defense did he give for that?
Well, you hear the minority leader talk about what he says is the shipment of certain items to Jamaica and other places. He says there are matters to be dealt with in this country. It's almost like home gentility outside cry, where you have issues to deal with in this country, you're not dealing with them, and you are putting off an image as being an international country which is supporting other countries while you have your own issues to deal with. Listen to the minority leader on that spot.
All we hear is some amount of relief is being provided. We don't know how these items were procured, the processes involved in the procurement, which agency is donating these items to central government, how these items came about. Mr. Speaker, no. In this country, we have serious disasters. The recent flooding in the country, we know that people have been calling for relief. NADMO has been telling us that they don't have stock. So we need to understand, we know that the government would have to balance its obligation in foreign relations. But where you do not have enough to feed your own at home, doing international charity will require a curious concern. Mr. Speaker, I am asking, Mr. Speaker, it is very important that we are briefed the extent to which this is being done. Honorable Majority Leader, I believe that the ball is in your court.
Well, Kweku is still with us. Kweku, has the foreign or defense ministers appeared before the House today?
Well, this matter, as we know now, was raised in conclave. That is the meeting of leaders prior to Parliament sitting. And our indication was that there was some agreement that the foreign minister will come to Parliament and brief MPs on that matter. The foreign minister is not yet here, but the indication that was given by the first deputy speaker who is presiding was that a call had been placed to the foreign affairs minister, who in fact was at this ceremony where the soldiers were deployed, to appear in Parliament and answer some questions from members on this. So that is what we're expecting. But for now, Parliament is transacting other business and the minister has yet to show up.
Thank you so much, Kweku Asante, reporting live from Parliament. Well, still in Parliament, the minority in Parliament is demanding the immediate dismissal of the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, accusing him of mismanaging the lithium deal with Birari DV. According to the group, when the minister presented the deal before the House, he defended its terms and insisted it was a much better deal. Speaking on behalf of the NPP minority, Old Tafo MP Vincent Ekwasefwa berated the minister for flip-flopping on the deal.
Have been satisfied, and the same agreement is later withdrawn on the basis that those requirements were not in fact fully met. Accountability must necessarily follow. In every democracy, ministers bear personal responsibility for the accuracy, reliability, and completeness of the information they place before Parliament. The integrity of parliamentary oversight depends on it. The minister forcefully defended the agreement, dismissed concerns raised by the minority and civil society, and presided over its presentation to Parliament for ratification. The subsequent withdrawal of the agreement, now explained on grounds of inadequate consultations and the need for further review, represents a direct contradiction of the assurances previously given to Parliament. This sequence of events amounts to an implicit admission that Parliament was asked to proceed on the basis of information that was at best incomplete. While the minority recognizes the consultation and stakeholder engagement are essential of responsible governance, such engagement must occur before an agreement is defended and laid before Parliament, not after it has been withdrawn under public pressure. It is neither reasonable nor acceptable to assure Parliament that consultations have been concluded, only to later rely on insufficient consultation as justification for a reversal.
Well, the minority insists that Amakofi-Boa must tender his resignation or be fired immediately.
It is this inconsistency between what Parliament was told and what has now been conceded that lies at the core of our concern. Lithium is a strategic mineral with far-reaching implications for Ghana's industrialization agenda, energy transition, youth employment prospects, environmental protection, and intergenerational equity. The management of such a resource demands clarity, consistency, and foresight. The minister's erratic handling of this matter has undermined public confidence, weakened Ghana's negotiating position, and exposed Parliament to avoidable embarrassment. In any functioning democracy, a sector minister who presides over such contradictions and uncertainty on a matter of national importance must take responsibility for his action. In these circumstances, the minority of the ninth Parliament in Parliament is of the firm view that the honourable course of action is for the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources to resign or be relieved of his position in the interest of accountability, good governance, and restoration of public trust in the management of Ghana's mineral resources. The minority reiterates its unwavering commitment
We will be engaging Shandoff this afternoon on the pulse. He will be responding to some of the concerns that the minority has raised. We know that the minority is calling for the lands minister to be fired. He speaks for the lands ministry and also NIMAS as well. But before that, a member of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Ken Ashigbe, says the agreement needs more consultation. Let's listen. We'll be right back.
We have about one of the highest average effective tax rates, and the way we charge our royalty is done at the gross level, gross revenue level.
Yeah.
And then you have the growth and sustainability level also the same. So when we talk about royalties in Ghana, you have to look at that within the context, and then also you have the progressive one, which is based on your profit. But even that, Ghana's corporate income tax is, one of the highest. We're paying 35%, and if you work it back to on your gross revenue, it comes to almost about 3%. Then we also in the Ghana government has a carried interest, which also then attracts some dividends. So our effective tax rate already before this, even when we're doing the 5%, we were about the highest. So when you compare us to our peers like Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, and all of that, our average effective tax rate is very high. So, if you take some of the mines, for example, you currently would have the government share of the profit. When you take royalties, you take CIT, you take dividends, it's about 50%. So at this stage, if government wants to double, because where we currently are for gold, it would mean that your effective royalties would be an 11%. We're hearing government talk about the fact that they will take off GSL and all of that. But even with this, we believe that because of the importance of gold, so far as this economy is concerned, what we need to do is for government to do a lot more engagement. I will consider we've had one engagement with the minister. We've had the position of government. We as an industry have also espoused our position. But what is currently going to go to Parliament is government's position. That gap from 5% all to 12%, it would have debilitating impact on the industry. And so that's why we would hope that governments would allow for, especially the gold conversation, allow for us to all sit around the table and find ways in which we can craft the sweet points that we will be able to do it. That would guarantee government the revenue that is required for development, but also ensure that we would have a sustainable growth of this industry to continue to provide the resources that is required. Winston, the issue around gold royalties is that it's a percentage. Sure. So even at this particular, the 5%, government is getting, in terms of absolute numbers, getting a larger number. But if point, do you slide it in such a way that when it is high, government gets a good number, when it's low as well, So that's the crux of the matter.
Okay.
It's a good time now to engage Shandoff Aqua. He speaks for the Lands Ministry. He joins me in the studio here. Hi.
Hi.
Great to have you in the studio. Let's delve right into it. The minority, they are of the opinion that the Lands Minister should resign or be fired.
Well, of course, good morning to yourself and to the rest of our listeners across the globe. The President had earlier indicated that when it comes to matters of our natural resources and indeed the whole enterprise of government, at every given point, we are welcome to criticize the outputs of government and whatever path that government is considering. But every form of criticism or feedback must be grounded in substance and fact. This one, unfortunately, does not have any of those. Indeed, I may want to say that it's a call that is bereft of substance. It doesn't have any leaning or legs to stand on. Because as of now, as I speak to you materially, at this particular moment, stakeholder engagements are currently ongoing with a view of refining the entirety of the agreement. Indeed, we just heard from Engineer Ken Ashigbe adding his voice to the fact that we have to deepen stakeholder engagement. And so if we are in that process, that has been truly necessitated by the factors surrounding the entire agreement, you begin to wonder, why would anybody then come and say that the man at the helm who is shepherding and spearheading the process ought to step aside? I find it as a mere political distraction, because what really is the substance? Now, he makes a case that, well, it's because at one point the minister was arguing fervently for the agreement, and now he has taken another stance, and therefore that is a representation of inconsistency. I don't think that is an inconsistency. We need to situate change properly within an appropriate context. If, for example, today, and permit me to maybe use you for this particular illustration, if today you were going to, as it were, purchase an item, and then you were convinced that the price you were going to purchase it at and all the other surrounding factors were, as it were, good, but then there's a new development that compels you to change your mind, can we at that material moment say that you have been inconsistent simply because you are embracing a new development that is more beneficial?
Why are you engaging in stakeholder engagements now? Isn't that an afterthought?
It's not an afterthought. Prior, there had been stakeholder engagements. But, of course, where there are new developments, you do not say that because you don't want to appear inconsistent, you would proceed with your earlier contemplations because, yes, you want to stay on a particular track, even when it is not favorable. Now, this is the point that I'm sure that you may even be aware. Lithium, as we all know, is a very volatile mineral, and the prices are always, at every given point, fluctuating. It's one of those minerals that, as of now, doesn't have any stabilized economic value. When the deal was first proposed, I think we all know that, it was $3,000 per ton, then it reduced, and then the fluctuations have continued. In the light of all of this, the investor clearly could not go ahead with production and then the operationalization of the concession. What did the investor do? The investor then proceeded to engage government and say that, look, there has been a global drop in the prices. Therefore, we have to go to the negotiating table again. In fact, just yesterday, I was in Ewoya and then Krampa, the affected communities. We engaged the locals. We represented the minister in an engagement with the locals on their views and their thoughts on it. And a lot of them, I can't disclose some of the conversations that we had with them, but they have new and brighter perspectives. And so if global prices are dropping, the community people, the direct beneficiaries, if you have to put it that way, are raising germane and new concerns. And the minister, in the light of it, therefore comes out to say that, look, in the midst of all of this, let us pull the brakes and then go to the table again. How is that an indication of failure?
You keep mentioning new developments. Apart from global prices dropping, what are these new developments?
Of course, that is the principal concern. But beyond that, there's also the conversation around local content. And I've had cause to explain on this particular platform that more often than not, when it comes to the management of our mineral resources, the locals in their communities do not benefit. More often than not, that has been the case. And so you go to a community where mining of any mineral resource is actively ongoing, but the people's lives are impoverished. There have been concerns and calls from the chiefs and people of Ewoya, Krampa, and Krofo, and all the surrounding communities for them to have more stakes in the benefits that accompanies this particular mineral. But in the earlier agreement, all of this were not, as it were, explicitly captured, so to speak. And so if all of this are coming to the fore, why don't you just go back and then, just word and document them, present it again, and then the country makes progress? I struggle to see how a change in mind is an admission or an indication of failure. For example, you are here, you work with the multimedia group. If tomorrow there is an offer from an international media house that, okay, go and then become a BBC anchor, a CNN presenter today. If Fosti decides to change her mind today, would any logical person be, as it were, justified to come and say that Fosti has been inconsistent in her career path because he's embracing something that is more progressive? Certainly not. And that is why I've had cause to say that that call is just a mere political distraction, which the people of Ghana should not at any point pay attention to.
How long will this stakeholder engagement take? And how soon would the lithium agreement reappear before the floor of Parliament?
Well, so on Monday, we met all the civil society organizations. Indeed, Imani Ghana had earlier presented their view on the matter to government, and so it was incorporated into Monday's engagement. They were about, if my memory serves me right, about 15 CSOs who gathered together. They had a sit down with the minister and then they engaged. yesterday we were in Ewea. Next week there would be more and more engagement. We are hoping that latest by the end of the year we would have rounded up all the stakeholder engagements. Therefore, after that we would come and then, of course, represents the bill on the floor of the House. Indeed, if it even becomes necessary because of the interest of the people of Ewea. Indeed, look, let me just say this. When we went there yesterday, it was very obvious that they were agitated. They were not happy about the fact that their livelihoods had been truncated, and therefore they called for government to expedite action. In response to that, what we are now doing is that we want to just fast track the engagement. When we are done, even if there is a need for the resubmission of the bill to come under a certificate of urgency, I'm sure that government would consider that accordingly. So if you are on such a steady path, why should anybody call for the man at the helm to be dismissed or resign or whatsoever? And so, again, I'm saying that it's a mere political distraction that we should not pay attention to.
The concern is about the timing. How long is it going to take?
I did indicate today is if I have to check, today is the 17th of December. It means we have 14 more days for 2025 to come to an end. We are hoping that by the end of the year we would have concluded with all the stakeholder engagements. Indeed, within that period, when we are reasonably sure that we have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, I'm saying if it has to even come under a certificate of urgency, we will do that for the ratification to be done. Then the operationalization of the concession will commence accordingly. Then the matter would, of course, come to the closure that all of us are looking for. But as we are in this process, the focus and emphasis of the minister is a bill that would not only benefit the people of Ewea, but the entirety of the country. That's the focus of the minister as of now.
And then let's talk about the key issues, because we know you also speak for NIMUS. How's the fight against illegal mining going?
I knew that was going to come up. Well, so NIMUS is still continuing with its operations across the length and breadth of the country.
Is it now?
I'm sure you would be breaking for Christmas very soon. You'll be going on the holidays. But unfortunately, NIMUS, the personnel at NIMUS would not embark on any such venture. They will still be in the communities, ensuring that the menace of illegal mining is roundly dealt with. There is a good news that we will soon announce in full detail, and that is the permanent deployment of military personnel to all the relevant flashpoints. Indeed, we had communicated earlier that that was going to be done.
Yeah.
But of course, if you are deploying soldiers in such quantum and momentum, you would need to incentivize and resource them financially. Thankfully, we have that clearance from the Finance Ministry, and so hopefully from the early start of next year, you would see military personnel at all the relevant flashpoints. And that would, of course, mean that now it is 24-hour surveillance at all of, the relevant areas where illegal mining is concerned. And so images like this very soon are going to be a thing of the past, because now the military personnel would be permanently stationed, and that will give us enhanced results.
Some people are of the opinion that NIMUS have gone to sleep, really, because we're not hearing of your raids, your arrest. What happened?
They have not gone to sleep. You see, the illegal miners have become they have become more obstinate, in the sense that they are, as it were, mounting more resistance. All right. So if you are moving, and I've had cause to say even on the same platform that NIMUS is an intelligence-led outfit. And so in as much as you want to go in combatively, you need to also sit and calculate. And so if at any given point you don't see a report on any NIMUS operation, you should know that we are only beefing up intelligence to move. And I'm sure by the close of the week, we'll give you the latest report with respect to our operations in that particular respect. And
update us on the work of the Blue Water Guards. They're also on the ground as well.
Absolutely. I'm happy you have chipped this in. In fact, this particular Saturday, the minister is going to inaugurate the second batch of Blue Water Guards. That would not be happening in Accra. It will be in the Western region, just to shore up and beef up the numbers, because the numbers that we have deployed so far, which was in forgive me if I missed this, that is in excess of 930. I think the one we did some 3 months ago. Now there is an additional number that is going to be added, and they are going to be deployed across the various flashpoints to ensure that the monitoring of the water bodies, becomes more effective. So that is going to happen this particular Saturday. And so at a time when the country is in a jubilant mood, basking in the excitement of the festivities, the ministry is still working, NIMUS is still on grounds, the Blue Water Guards are on course, and that is why the fight against illegal mining will soon be a thing of the past.
But I'm sure you've done some monitoring and evaluation of the work of Blue Water Guards even before you decide to bring more people on board. How effective have they been?
If I have to rate,
their job primarily is only to act as spies.
If I have to rate the performance of the Blue Water Guards, and this is not mean being, as it were, flowery or exaggerated, but if I have to rate their outputs based on the performance and the consistent reviews that we do, I'll say that out of a 10, they should deserve more than 8.5. The reason I'm saying that is because you see all the arrests that you see NIMOS effecting, they are as a result and a consequence of the intelligence that the Blue Water Guards provide. And so if you are applauding NIMOS, or if at any point in time you want to commend NIMOS, you should also extend that same gesture to the Blue Water Guards. And so if NIMOS is doing well, inadvertently the Blue Water Guards are also doing well. And the ministry at large, led by the sector minister, is on course in that regard.
Shadov, thank you for your time here on
It's
the
a pleasure.
Pulse. Well, away from that, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, has issued a strong warning to sanitation offenders, threatening the introduction of spot fines as part of renewed efforts to keep the capital clean. Speaking during a tour of selected metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies as part of a week-long sanitation drive, the minister expressed concerns that despite significant government expenditure on sanitation, negative human behavior and low public support continue to undermine progress. According to her, authorities will be left with no choice but to apply tougher enforcement measures if residents fail to change their attitudes towards waste and waste disposal.
The Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council is taking drastic measures to address the growing sanitation challenges within the city, particularly ahead of the Christmas season. The Minister, Linda Oklu, led a team to some 4 municipal assemblies today, including Adentan, Ayaso West, Wogon, a municipal assembly, in order to collaborate with the MMDCs in tackling this growing menace. The Minister said stricter measures, including spot fines and arrests, would be undertaken in order to reduce this challenge.
All those people that, don't strictly adhere to rules, should face the law. And so the task force should at least let's arrest like 2 or 3 people to serve as a deterrent to others so that they can also help us. Because, we are investing so much into this sanitation in the Greater Accra region, but the people are also not helping.
Would you implement spot fines as well?
Oh yes, why not? We've also engaged the district charges. We've engaged them and we've spoken with them. And so anybody that will be fine wanted will face the law.
She also spoke about the fact that stricter measures would be taken to address the issue of people refusing to use the various food bridges across the region.
In fact, sometimes when we talk, we know what we are saying. We are begging of the citizens of this country. You see, when you observe just observe, you could see that even though we have the food bridges here, people prefer to use the median. Are you getting me? And so I also task the police, they are here. Let's ensure that they also enforce the law. Make sure that they use the food bridge, and so that we'll save lives. This Christmas, we don't want to hear that somebody has been knocked down by a car. In as much as we want to save life, we also want to make sure that the city is clean.
For the various MMDCs, they will work closely with the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council to keep their various areas clean.
We're talking about the sustainability of the project. We are not only going to do it for 1 month or 2 months. We've recruited a task force close to 100. And what we are going to do is they will be stationed here, both left side and then the right side.
Adenta has been known for its cleanliness. That is why, according to the league table, we're first in 2022, 2023, and 2021. So we intend to maintain the momentum. So we are going to do this twice every month.
Yes, so far so good. As you can see, we have spread out right from Atomic Junction to 37. So we are weeding, we are collecting the sand as well, and we are sweeping. So basically, these are the 3 things we are doing. And we believe that by Friday, this whole stretch is going to be very clean.
This initiative, according to the minister, is part of efforts to address the growing sanitation challenge in Accra to make the city clean, particularly ahead of the Christmas season. For Joy News, I'm Amfata Obayaga, Accra.
You're still watching The Pulse. After this quick turn, we'll be back with more. Please stay with us. To stay with us here on The Pulse. Well, still in Parliament, the Minority Leader Member of Parliament for Ifutu, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, I beg your pardon, has called on parents and guardians to prioritize their children's reading and academic studies. He made the appeal at the commissioning of an ultra-modern Richard C. Ikem Library and ICT Center at low cost in Winneba, a facility described as critical and one that will help the education of young people in his constituency. There's more in the following report.
The art facility, named after industrialist Richard C. Ikem, who funded Mr. Afenyo-Markin's education in 1995, features a 100-seater ICT Center for global digital skills training, private reading rooms fostering focused research, and a 150-seater conference hall for idea sharing and future negotiations. Speaking at the commissioning of the library, Afenyo-Markin called on parents to prioritize reading and studying for their children over TV or entertainment, using the library as a vital tool to build lifelong discipline.
And that is what I want to say to you parents here, that this library is more than a repository of books. It is a launch pad. Its mission is to plant the seeds that will germinate into Ghana's next generation of tech titans and ethical innovators. We dream of them building transformative industrial groups like Moses Kwesi Baden Jr., whose Margins Group is revolutionizing identity management and security across the continent.
Mr. Afenyo-Markin further cautioned young people against diverting the library's ICT resources towards fraudulent schemes, noting that digital tools reveal and amplify personal integrity while demanding responsible application.
We must also sound a solemn warning. We must guard against dark temptation to misuse this powerful technology. We all have a duty as parents, teachers, and elders to ensure that our brilliant young minds see technology as a tool for creation, not crime. Let them be inspired by the Chinerehesis and the Moses Badens, who build empires, not by scammers who destroy lives and disgrace our nation.
The RC Ikem Library is the 19th library in the Ifutu constituency, the most in Ghana. For Joy News, Evelyn Amper's report read to you.
Away from that, the principal of Bolgatanga Midwifery Training College, Alhaji Ajia Lamisi Mary, has appealed to well-meaning Ghanaians, philanthropists and collaborators to support the institution in addressing its pressing infrastructure needs. Speaking exclusively to Joy News after the launch of the college's 75th anniversary celebration, the principal highlighted the challenges posed by inadequate infrastructure, including accommodation, facilities and lecture theatres, which have forced the college to adopt a rational system for students. Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sori reports.
Established in the year 1950, the Bolgatanga Midwifery Training College in the Upper East Region has produced thousands of midwives to enhance Ghana's healthcare delivery. However, the college's infrastructure has not significantly improved to match its long-standing existence. The college currently has a student population of 575, underscoring the need for expansion in infrastructure. Speaking to Joy News after the launch of the 75th anniversary celebration of the Bolgatanga Midwifery Training College, the principal, Hajia Mary Lamisi Bozombil, revealed that the college is forced to adopt a rotational system for students due to a lack of accommodation.
We would have wished that at least we would have had satellite campuses all over the place. We would have had all our students on campus, but infrastructure-wise, we don't have enough. So the first years automatically live on campus. Second years, they have to go out because of the constraints in infrastructure. Then third years automatically will come, which is not appropriate. We don't have accommodation facilities, we don't have theaters, lecture theaters, so it's a challenge for us. We don't have adequate boreholes. The staff strength, we don't even have clearance. Most of our workers are casual workers, and so it's difficult.
The launch of the anniversary celebration was also used to break ground for the construction of a 3-story, 60-unit classroom theater. The principal called for support from various stakeholders to help complete the project and improve other infrastructure in the institution.
You have a situation where 100 students have to go in for a lecture, after which they come out, the same tutor will have to go in for another 100. But if we had enough classrooms, bigger ones, at least the 200 students could be in one lecture hall, and that would save time for other subjects. We are pleading with philanthropists, collaborators, stakeholders who will come, and then by the time we'll be at least ending the program next year, we should be able to put up the at least classroom theater for our students.
The 75th anniversary celebration of the Bolgatanga Midwifery Training College is under the theme 75 Years of Excellence in Midwifery Education, Sustaining Maternal and Child Healthcare. The celebration will be climaxed by a grand event next year. The occasion of the launch of the anniversary celebration was also used for the matriculation of 200 newly admitted students into the college for the 2025-2026 academic year. Upper East Regional Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Brahma Abubakari, praised the Bolgatanga Midwifery Training College for successfully training disciplined healthcare professionals over the years, despite the numerous challenges the institution faces.
To sustain excellence, we must invest in one, continuous professional development for our midwives, ensuring they are equipped with modern skills and knowledge. To our fresh students matriculating today, you must be entrusted with the lives of mothers and newborns. Remember that every safe delivery, every healthy child, and every mother who survives childbirth because of your care is a victory to humanity.
Reporting for Joy News, Albert Sorry, Bolgatanga.
Away from that, Pentecost University has called on Ghana's higher education institutions to retool their academic programs to produce graduates with industry-relevant skills capable of competing in an increasingly dynamic and technology-driven labor market. Speaking at the university's 2025 convocation ceremony in Accra, the acting Vice-Chancellor, Associate Professor Kwabna Ejapon Kodria, urged universities to realign curricula, strengthen employability pathways, and embedded practical competencies that respond to the current and emerging workforce demands. The following report has more.
Engagement with the Youth Ministry of the Church of Pentecost to establish a global youth center at Asutu and Ernest campus. At Agape campus in Sudan, Ghana, Pentecost University campus in South Africa and Pakistan, these campuses are making significant progress. PU campus South Africa held their graduation in November of this year, whilst Pakistan was in January. Our Agape campus is having its first graduation today as Sudan. Glory be to God. The School of Theology and Mission have expanded its ministerial training to several African and Asian nations directly or via online sources, reinforcing our role in global Christian leadership formation. Chancellor and all gathered, I'm happy to announce that we have received full accreditation for 8 distinguished programs: PhD Theology and Mission, PhD Leadership and Governance, PhD Engineering, PhD Engineering, Doctor of Herbal Medicine, MSc Theology and Pastoral Studies, MA Theology and Pastoral Studies, MSc Intelligence Systems Engineering, BE Politics, Philosophy and Economics, and BE.
I'm looking forward to the family party in the park. Well, this December will be sparkling with music, lights and theatre, as well as colour throughout this December. The December in GH 2025 program is coming up, and the Ghana Tourism Authority is inviting everyone to experience the magic firsthand, from festive streets to concerts, you name it, the cultural celebrations. And there will also be traditional meet and greets, as well as creativity, all to showcase the warmth in Ghana and also that holiday spirit that fills every corner. The following report has more in our feature, Joy to the World, as we count down to Christmas.
Ghana isn't complete without theatre, and this year, Ankle White's Festival of Plays returns with renewed force. In Takoradi, the coast will beat to Mosque Fiesta December 19 and return on December 24 to 28. The Western region's masquerade culture remains one of Ghana's most colourful Christmas traditions, and this year's edition is expected to draw record numbers. On Boxing Day, December 26, the hills of Ibri will come alive as the Ibri Botanical Gardens host Joy FM's family party in the park. Music will float through the cool air as Kwabna Kwabna, Kwanpa, and Dope Nation take the stage, while cooking competitions and activities at Daddy's Corner keep families entertained. On December 24 and 25, Accra will light up with two of the season's biggest shows, Stoneboy's Beam Festival and Sarkodie's Rapaholic Concert. Then comes the heartbeat of the holidays, Dirty December. From blockbuster concerts and beach raves at Labadi and Kokrobiti, the city will become a living stage. Christmas in Ghana is no longer just a holiday. It's a spectacle of lights, music, culture, and joy. With many events lined up for the season, enjoy responsibly. Rodalyn Abence's feature on Christmas activities in Ghana, read to you.
Well, indeed, Christmas is just around the corner, and many people around the world are planning their holiday vacations. Well, here in Ghana, however, there are exquisite destinations, yes, just for you. That should be your very, very top list priority. And if you're making those plans, that is the exact place to be at. Well, join me in the studio now is Dr. Ashley Milton from Anumansa Beach Resort. It's Elmina's newest premier destination, and there are a lot of details to share about their Christmas packages just for us. Yes, if you are in that festive mood, you're tired of being in Accra, you just want to get away, that is the perfect place for you. And she joins me in the studio to tell me all about it. Now, she promises that this weekend I have a stay in her resorts.
I got you.
Is that the case?
Yes.
I can hear Carlos saying that he wants to come along too. No, please. It's a low ladies' affairs. All ladies' affairs. Yes, please. Hi. You're welcome, Doc.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Great. So tell me all about your packages for this festive season. What should I take home when I'm leaving this interview? Key things. What exactly do you have in store for me?
Okay, so one, we have this amazing beachfront resort in Elmina, 36 rooms.
Oh my God.
So beautiful pool, access to the beach, access to Benya Lagoon, and we also have these amazing discounted prices. It's Christmas, so we should give back as well, right? We should be in the giving spirit. So we have definitely, offered some discounts so we can get more people in the door.
I love the sound of that discount. So what's the price now for a standard room based on the discounts you're giving out?
So we have deluxe rooms.
Oh,
that would be our base entry part. It's going to be $2,300 for double occupancy. And that's going to give you bed and breakfast. So you can enjoy breakfast with us in our beautiful restaurant.
My boss just sends me a message that he's going to ensure he pays for my stay this week.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, KOP and Evans. I appreciate you guys. But then for people wondering, what do you have in store for them apart from a wonderful stay?
Yeah.
Do you have events coming up this festive season? What should we look forward to?
We should. Okay, so Anamansa Beach Resort is really this premier coastal luxury place. And it's not just about the accommodations. We're talking about wellness. We're talking about curated entertainment. We opened just 3 months ago with a concert with 4-time Grammy-nominated Rocky Dawuni. So for our festive season, we have 10 days of festivities from December 23rd through January 1st. So we're going to kick off the season with the holiday dinner on the 23rd of December, and that takes us right into Christmas Eve. We have a dinner Christmas Day. We have a dinner Boxing Day. We have our beach barbecue and games. So you can come out, you can play in the sun, play in the sand, play in the pool, you know, Marco Polo action.
That's right.
Yeah, and from the 27th through the 30th, we're just going to have a bunch of musical, you know, concerts, live jazz, trios, saxophonists. You can definitely bring out the family. And that brings us right into the 31st. So that's our New Year's Eve wishes and wave party. So we're going to have fireworks. We have a few rooms available for that night. So if you're interested, definitely book now. And then January 1st is we're going to have our recovery brunch, because we have to brunch and we have to recover from all the Dati December activities and parties and festivals. So 10 days of festive events at Anamansa, and we're inviting all of Ghana to come out and see what we have to offer.
And I'm quite interested in the name Anamansa. What inspired that name? What's the vision behind it?
Thank you for that question. So most people know the town as Elmina, right? And the original name was Amina by the Portuguese, which means a mine, right? And so Anamansa is the original name of that town. So the people in the local communities, they call it Anamansa, and it means lands of inexhaustible waters. So when the person came and he found that land, he saw the beach, the lagoons, all of the waterways, and was like, wow, there's so much abundance here. And so that's why we decided to re-embrace the original name of Anamansa. We were the original Elmina Bay Resort. So we bought an existing hotel, we completely renovated it, and so we wanted to reintroduce that renewal. And so that's when we came up with the name Anamansa.
And I see this festive season, you're looking to attract people from the diaspora as well.
Of course.
What's your plan this festive season on how to ensure that tourism in that area actually is boosted just by the presence of that resort?
So, you know, we're so excited to contribute to what's already going on that coast. We know that the Central Region is the most visited, you know, destination in Ghana for international and domestic audiences. So we are here to elevate the service of culture on that coast. So we're here to serve Ghanaians. We're here to serve the international audience, whether you're from the diaspora, you're coming from Europe or the UK. And our real purpose is to, again, not just provide comfortable accommodations, but to really elevate the culture of service in that area. We just opened, but we are shooting to be, you know, a premier destination, right? We're shooting for those 4 stars when we think about Anamansa and all the offerings. So we're really excited to join the rest of the hospitality assets that are on the coast. But we're definitely setting ourselves apart with what we're offering with our design, our interior, our service, our activities, and most importantly, it's the entertainment that keeps people in that space.
Now, the Central Region, we know, remains one of the most visited tourist sites in the country.
Correct.
Can you deal with the numbers this festive season?
Oh, definitely. We can deal with the numbers. You know, we're a 36-room boutique hotel. So beyond just being able to house, you know, our curated guests, we also have 3 restaurants on site. So it's, again, you don't have to come to stay. You can come to our happy hour. We have a live at 5 every Friday, 10% off drinks. We do a cheque and tilapia on Wednesdays. So we have a lot of other activations for people to participate in. And beyond the beach, we also have access to the Binya Lagoon. So we'll be out there with kayaks, we'll be out there with stand-up paddleboards, and it offers a safer way for families to kind of enjoy the water on that coast. So yeah, we're ready to receive everyone that wants to come in and dine with us, to stay with us, and to just experience what Anomansa has to offer.
And just on your screens now, you can look at how beautiful that resort is. Oh my God, I can't wait to visit the place. And now that my boss, KOP and Evans, have agreed to pay for me to go there. Oh,
I heard it.
It's a delight. But then finally, as we wrap up the conversation, what message you have for Ghanaians and individuals in the diaspora as we look forward to this festive season?
Definitely come visit Anomansa. Get out of Accra, quiet yourself from the noise. Come to coastal luxury where you can have comfort, where you can have amazing cuisine and taste the flavors of Elmina, where you can listen to amazing music, the fire dancers, and just really feel, you know, rejuvenated when you come back and start the new year. So whether you come this week or you come next week or you come for, you know, our New Year's Eve party, definitely make sure you come out to this coast. It's something that you won't want to miss, for sure.
And for individuals who want to probably have their wedding at the resort?
Oh my gosh. I can only imagine
Tell
the photos.
me about it.
Yeah, so again, beyond accommodations, weddings, your graduations, your girls' trips, your bachelorette parties, your bachelor parties, you know, we are here to serve and offer amazing resort experience. So our phase 2, which will start in 2026, will be renovating a conference room, where we'll have a tourist experience center, a gift shop, we'll be adding a spa. So, you know, Anomansa is just going to keep elevating and keep getting better and bigger. So for sure, if you want to have your weddings, the photo shoots would be amazing. If you want to have your engagement parties, all of those things can be done at Anomansa Beach Resort, and we're here to serve you.
And if I stay around Elmina and its environs, can I order food from your resort? Do you cater for parties and events?
You know what? That's a really good question. We definitely service the Elmina community. We're on radio down there, and we're advertising for people to come in. One thing that we're not doing just yet is food delivery.
Okay.
But that is definitely something that I've been looking to add. Because we have 3 restaurants on site. So when you come, you don't need to leave. But if you're in the area and you want to enjoy those flavors that come from our Asafo Grill or our Nkwa Seaside or our Binya Lagoon Bar, you should be able to order and have it delivered. So that is definitely coming soon.
Great. We're looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Doc, for your presence here.
Thank you so much
on
for
the
having me.
pulse. And we're looking forward to that getaway. Carlos is telling me in my ears that he wants to be part of it. Don't worry. We'll see how we can work it out after the show ends. But away from that, Electricity Company of Ghana in the Ashanti region, they have disclosed widespread power theft in Galamsey prone areas with Obuase, Manso, and Dunkwa identified as hotspots. The power distributor says massive system losses, largely driven by illegal connection in Galamsey prone communities, are severely denting its revenue mobilization efforts and fueling operational challenges. Well, the company has described the situation as one of their major setbacks this year and continues to threaten the operationalization of ECG as well as its efficiency. The ECG recounted that task force under the Revenue Protection Unit are often attacked when they're on the ground doing their rounds for revenue mobilization drives as well on the grounds. Well, the Ashanti Regional General Manager, Engineer Jonathan Ajapeng, says despite the strain, the company will intensify enforcement and surcharge corporates.
Our major challenge with revenue collection, so far the region is concerned, has to do with where we have these Galamsey activities. That's why we have challenge, but we are able to engage the community to let them understand the reason why they should pay electricity to us so that we can be in business. Because with that, them paying electricity, we cannot be in business. If you imagine the number of projects that I mentioned earlier on that we have embarked on, always to make sure that we provide quality, reliable supply for them. So we have a task force which works under the RP, that's Revenue Protection Unit, which they always go around, visit the district to make sure that any customer that is found culpable in terms of stealing of power will be arrested and surcharged so that we can recoup some of the money that they have stolen. Greg Galam said that the challenge there is that customers don't come out to pay willingly, and sometimes they attack our staff when they go around. I believe they do that because they don't understand our activity. So we plan to engage them, have education, customer education with them, for them to understand why they should pay electricity bill, because if you don't pay, we will not be able to have money or revenue to pay our IPPs. Apart from Obuasi, Asukwa, and Bekwai, who are doing well, Manso, Dunkwa, and New Dubiasi, that's why we had a challenge. But we believe that with effective engagement with the community,